First panelist over here, and that's Michele Wojciechowski. She almost needs no introduction to ASJA members because everybody knows her as a humor columnist, stand-up comic, and the writer of the award-winning book, The Next Time I Move, They'll Carry Me Out in a Box. Now I'm going to turn it over to Michele.
Hi. Thank you. And my book is for sale downstairs, or actually around wherever it is. Buy the book, okay? I need to eat. No. How did I find out I was funny? I can't come from a really funny family. I was an only child, so I was like the precocious 45-year-old, 5-year-old, you know? And how did I first know I was funny? I think two things. I grew up in the 70s, so I started doing impersonations of Vinnie Barbarino from Welcome Back, Kotter. My aunts would give me quarters to do this for their friends, and a professional comedian was born. In addition, they used to put out Dixie Riddle cups. I don't know if anyone remembers those, but you know, you pulled it off to brush your teeth and wow, there's a joke. And I walked around telling this joke until my poor mom probably wanted to shoot me. What do you call a sleeping bull? A bulldozer. But when you're 5 and you're cute, you can say anything and people laugh. And I like that. And having grown up with this, it was just very natural for me. People say, how do you be funny? For me personally, it's kind of like, how do you breathe? It just comes. It just comes for me. That doesn't mean that you can't get better at it. And it doesn't mean that there aren't certain skills you can learn that can take you to different levels. I started out writing a humor column for a now defunct, and there are many now defunct newspapers that I've written for, in Baltimore called the Times-Herald, and I had been funny with other kinds of things, and I said to the editor, what do you think if I do a humor column? And I remember her saying, all right, you can give it a try. and I did the first one, and it appeared, and silence from her. So I'm thinking, you know, because back then I was younger and I used to let everything bother me, and you turn 40 and you just don't care anymore. And she got back to me and people liked it, and then that just kept up. So I ran it in that and a couple other papers, and then they folded up, so I've been playing, you know, musical newspapers over the years. But now, and Dan will probably address this because I've heard him speak before, but I'll get more into this, but that's how I found out I was funny. But there are lots of ways and lots of places to write humor. It's not just a humor column. And we have a wide variety of people who do very different kinds of humor-related writing. And the one thing I will talk about when we get to that part is that you can write features for national magazines and add humor to them. And I've done that many times. One of my favorite stories I wrote actually for regional was for Maryland Life magazine, and I went undercover. Actually, they knew I was there, but the visitors didn't, at the local Renaissance Festival. And I mean, they put me in the garb with, you know, the horrific bodice, and I had to ride an elephant, and it was awful, but a lot of fun. And I wrote a story about it called Discovering My Inner Wench. And I was allowed to be funny. I got to talk to a lot of great people, and I got paid for it. And, you know, that just makes life really good. So.